We're at politicsandcolor.com. We are here live in Milwaukee, Wisconsin at the Republican National Convention. Bianca Garcia is my guest. Latinos for Trump is the organization. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Why are Latinos for Trump?
So I'm actually one of the co-founders of Latinos for Trump since 2016, when it was not popular to like Trump, talk about Trump, follow Trump. And so we had a national movement that started actually in the West Coast, and we spread all the way to the East Coast. And I'm kind of out in the middle. I'm from Texas. And so we just united back in 2016 and started chapters all over different states, and we've been going strong. And even right now from 2020, since he's not been in the White House, we have Latinos for America First now. So we kind of been, I run both of the organizations.
So those watching this and listening to this conversation, I'm sure there are many who would want me to ask, when you go to the first campaign, the 2016 campaign, and all of the rhetoric about Mexicans are thieves, they're coming across the border, they're raping your children, they're bringing drugs, and that whole racist diatribe, how many would want to know then, how can an organization support that kind of rhetoric?
Well, we were called all kinds of names for that, because how dare we, not fall in line with the Democrat Party and not spew the ad, and we're supposed to defend our people. But look, Donald Trump said exactly what was happening. So I am close to a border town. I grew up close to a border town. I know exactly what's happening. I know that there were bad hombres that were coming across. Now, back in 2016, remember, he was not politically savvy. He's a businessman. So he said things that offended people, obviously. I called it ripping Band-Aids. It's like, people even in the barrio, if I talk to somebody, they'd be like, oh, we don't like that man. I'm like, really? But come on, let's be real here. There's gangsters up and down your street, people selling crack. You got prostitutes walking up and down your street, gang shootings. I mean, whatever, come on, let's talk. They're like, well, that's true. Okay, well, what's the problem? Okay, so I think in 2016 it was, everybody knew the elephant in the room, but nobody really wanted to talk about it. And as he started to rip those Band-Aids.
And what's the elephant?
That there was illegals that were bad that were coming across the border, and we needed to build a wall. We needed to secure our border, and that people want to come here. They need to come here legally. So that was the elephant in the room that nobody wants to talk about.
Building the wall.
Yes.
That's a common. Again, in fact, both Trump and Biden are both on that mission. But,
Biden's not on that mission.
Well, it hasn't the Biden administration provided funding for the continuing building of the wall?
No.
That's not going on now?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it is not. In fact, the Democrat Party has told us over and over and over that there's nothing wrong with the border, that it is secure. I know different because I've actually done initiatives. I work with Border Patrol agents. And since 2019, actually, our organization fed Border Patrol agents for appreciation of doing their job, trying to do their job, from Brownsville all the way to New Mexico. Okay, so we would go and feed them. Now, that's one thing. Now, I just did an initiative last year, and September 11th, and we're going to do it again this year. We went and picked up trash on the border, 20,000 tons, 20,000 tons, and I have pictures of this video of just clothes, bottles, Pampers, disgusting. I'm not even going to say needles, syringe. I mean, you name it. It was just pounded into the ground that we needed to get the little bobcats to even dig it up.
Right. 20,000
tons of trash in a half a mile radius. And so we worked with a Border Patrol chief, Gloria Chavez, and she's like, you have no idea, just this little section that you all have cleaned up. The Border Patrol agents are just so thankful that you came and did it. And here's the thing, she said, but the whole border, 2,000 miles of it is just like this. And I said, what? Are you kidding me? Now here's an interesting thing. There is a college, UTRGV, right on Brownsville, that sits on the border. This is their backyard. So there was a professor, and she offered extra credit for kids to come out. And, there's social justice warriors and believe in the environment to come help out, to come help out and do, the cleanup. In exchange, they had to, write, in order to get their extra credit, they had to write a report.
Right.
She sent me the essays. Now, these kids were like, oh, open border, they supported that poor people were coming over because they just were looking for work. When they saw this, they had to roll up their sleeves and clean up a mess that was in their backyard that they had no idea was there.
Okay.
And when they did that, they wrote in their essays, and she sent them to me. She says, I think this is important, and they want me to help them publish them. But the kids changed their mind about an open border, and the kids said the United States must secure the border, and the United States now must enforce the laws that are in the books. Because we've asked Border Patrol, what can we do to really help with, we understand building the wall, we understand all that. What can we do? And you know what they said? They said, honestly, how do we clean this mess up? Is enforcing the laws that already exist. But the current administration does not let them enforce the laws.
Okay. There are those who would wonder that it's not as much a border problem as it is a foreign policy problem. So when you look at, for example, NAFTA and the impact that NAFTA has had on the Mexican agricultural economy, basically decimating the corn production, Mexican corn production, so that Mexico has to import corn. In fact, the native Mexican corn has been decimated by American yellow corn. When you look at U.S. policy in Guatemala, for example, Chiquita Banana, I believe, was just convicted in court of violating, sponsoring hit squads in Guatemala. We can talk about Nicaragua. We can talk about U.S. foreign policy there. Decimating those economies and basically forcing those people from their home. We can look at what's happening in Haiti. We have a lot of Haitians at the border. The United States is getting ready to reinvade Haiti. So there are those who will say it's not as much of a border issue as it is a foreign policy issue that is decimating these economies and forcing these people to seek refuge elsewhere. What do you say? What do you say to those that would ask that question?
Back in 2016 to 2020, we had veterans in the United States. We called it N27 that were literally, suicide. They're suicide, right? Since COVID, we are now at 37 veterans a day that commit suicide. This is my answer to that. We can't even take care of the problems we have in the United States. How are we going to take care of everybody else's problems? I understand that they want to come here to work. They want to come here to do what they, but you're going to have to come here the right way, the legal way. We need to know who you are. We need to know why you're coming here. We have no problem with that, but the illegal immigration has to stop. Now, 70% of the people coming in illegally are not from Mexico. They're from other 70% are from other countries.
Right.
So
those are
I feel bad for them, but listen, we can't even take care of black community.
Okay.
Come on. I walked the streets here in Milwaukee. I came here with little Kim and walked down and I said, what is we can talk all day long on abortion. We can talk about border security. We can talk about all these things. But let me tell you something. When I came here to Milwaukee and I walked down the streets with him, and this guy's and his crew have been in and out of jail. And I said, what is your number one concern? And he said, abandoned buildings. I said, really? Abandoned buildings? Not abortion, not, no, abandoned buildings. He said, why is it, since I was in Pampers, he says, these abandoned buildings have been here and nobody cleans them up. He says, why isn't it? He goes, we need jobs.
Well, that's the deindustrialization of the American economy.
But this is what I'm saying. Like, we have problems here in the United States that we're not even helping our own communities out. And here we are wanting to welcome all these other people illegally because they're suffering for whatever reasons in their
Bianca
countries.
Garcia, Latinos for Trump. Thank you. So Latinos for America now.
It is Latinos for America first. We are still Latinos for Trump.
Okay.
And so we will always be Latinos for Trump because that's how we were birthed.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Really appreciate it.
Thank
Folks, Wilmer Leon here. Politics in Color is where you are. politicsincolor.com is what you're watching. More from Milwaukee. Stay right here.
Your vote matters. It makes our community and country stronger. So make your voice heard. Get registered. Turn to your local TV and radio stations for trusted reporting on the candidates and issues. Visit vote411.org to learn what's on your ballot and make a plan to vote on or before November 5th. This message is furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.